When we created the package with the Extra Builder Extra, a MODX namespace should have been created. Click the cogwheel icon, select namespaces, and verify that the namespace exists and the paths are correct. To create a new menu item, click the cogwheel icon and select Menus. Then click the Create button. Enter a title and a description for your menu item. Define a value for the action. A common value is home. Then also input the namespace. Save the menu item and maybe move it to a different place. The menu item has been created, but shows an error, because we haven't created a controller yet. The name and location of the controller file are very specific. The file name is the value of the action followed by .class.php. It has to be located in a folder controllers, in your namespace core path. The name of the controller class is the namespace, followed by the action, followed by manager controller. In core components, simple extra. Create a new folder controllers. In this folder create a new file home.class.php. With a use statement, we bring in the class MODX \revolution mod manager controller. Then we create our own class simple extra home manager controller, that extends this class. The class mod manager controller is an abstract class. There are 5 abstract functions we have to implement. Let's copy them over. In the function check permissions, we just return true, as we don't have special permissions to access this controller. In the function get page title, we return a value for the page title. In get template file, we could return the path to a Smarta template. But we keep it simple and just return an empty string. Instead, we return the template in the process function. The template is just a diff element with the ID simple extra -panel -home -diff. In the load custom Ext.js function, you can add CSS and JavaScript files. We use the add JavaScript function to add the file simpleextra.js. Now let's create this JS file. Under Assets, Components, Simple Extra, add a new folder JS. Then create a new file simpleextra.js. The first step is usually to create a global variable with the name of the extra, to store all the data. Let's check if it works so far. We can see the page title we set in the controller, and the diff we created for the template. Now let's create a page component. Here is some boilerplate code to create a component in Ext.js. First we create a constructor function and save it in our global variable. Then we use ext.extend to define which existing component we are extending. In this case it's modx.component. Lastly, we register an X type for this component with ext.reg. With the X type, we can refer to our component in the code. In the constructor function, we get a config object from a potential subclass. Then we add our own stuff to the object and call the superclass constructor with it. Ext apply if copies all properties to the config that don't already exist. Let's add some data to the configuration. In the property components, we define that the X type, simple extra-panel-home, should be rendered to our template diff. This X type doesn't exist yet. Let's create it. Again, the same boilerplate code for a component. We change where the constructor function is stored. And adjust the X type. Our panel extends the component MODX.panel. In the configuration, we define some classes and the items in this panel. For now, we just create some HTML markup for the title, and add the appropriate class. Finally, we add some code to load our page component when the document is ready. If we open our custom manager page again, we can see the panel with the title. Let's add tabs to our panel. The X type is MODX-tabs. The property, items, are the different tabs. We just add one tab with the title items. Then we add some HTML markup to our tab, to display a description text. Open the custom manager page once again, to see the result.